Hello, and welcome back to my show. And boy, do we have one for you. My name is Hasan, and today we're going to try to understand the mind of a leader. Leader of what? The Tomlandian Empire. Here we have Tom Q. Tom Q, how are you today?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Fine.
Nice. Do you have any questions?
Well, let's start off by just tell me a bit about yourself.
My name is Tom Q. I am the leader of the Tomlandia Confederation.
So, leading into the idea of an empire, how did that come about?
Well, I think way back when I was a child, I didn't really have a specific national alignment because I would move back and forth between several different countries. I just thought because I do not have my own identity, that I might create an empire. When a bunch of people decided to bully me because I was not a part of their group, and I decided to gather evidence in every single aspect of their life when they break rules, and I turned all the evidence into the teacher, which promptly got them expelled. That made me feel a sense of glory that I haven't felt in ever, and I think that glory is what made me want to start what I call an empire.
So, to give you a more holistic feeling about yourself.
Yes, basically.
All right. So you would say that you've had prior experience creating a nation.
Basically, I would like to say that my first experience with an empire is within a friend group that I started in high school. It was with a few other girls, and we would always joke around how we are a matrilineal society, and I would always ask them, "Does that make us an empire?" And they would always say yes. And that's the whole idea behind the empire, how it started.
So you would say that your failures have made you stronger.
There was this one time in high school. I think this was junior year or third year of my high school. I was the leader of an empire, and I called myself Modicus. I would say that I had a dear, dear friend and person of my empire. Her name was Katie.
Okay.
Let's just call her that because
Alright.
I don't want to reveal any
Understand.
confidential information. Yeah, Katie and I really met during her first year in high school, and I was the one who showed her around, who basically guided her through the first 2 weeks of high school. Back then, I had my friend, and because I was trying to create an empire, I was trying to be the center of my friend group and essentially the leader, trying to spark the friend group to do everything together. I think Katie came along and was really looking forward to joining an empire, to participating in something that she values and enjoys. So we quickly became friends. So after like a few more encounters, I've given her many gifts. She's given me many gifts. I've attended her birthday parties, of course, high schoolers. We had fun. Unfortunately, though, the coronavirus, as you know, hit. And I think the idea of me being the leader of an empire just didn't sit well with the rest of the friend group after everything just completely fell apart. And I think it's partially my fault as well. A lot of people in this friend group decided to leave the friend group itself because they've gone on to do other things, have their own Discord servers, and obtain their own success essentially. The last person that stuck with was Katie. But unfortunately, I was afraid to lose the last member of my empire, that I was controlling and manipulative with her. And once I even got angry at her over a text message she sent. And after that, she decided that I am not emotionally stable enough to be the leader of the Tomlandian Empire, or I guess at that time, Monicus. Then she decided to leave me as well. That would be my greatest failure.
But it's led to better experiences, you would say, for Katie to move on with her life.
I would say yes, very much so.
Well, I see an evolution to your empire. And you mentioned a phase in which it was called Medicus. What?
Modicus.
Modicus. Let's talk about the origins. When did the empire actually start?
The actual Tomlandian Confederation started with my pursuit to college. and me wanting to obtain more for myself in life. And basically, the idea was that instead of focusing on how I'm going to gather people together and form my own group of empire, I wanted to make myself just a one person empire with a multifaceted personality as my members of the empire, which and of course worked. And I think that this whole idea of the empire really pushed my abilities to aim for higher, to go beyond my limits and abilities, and to try my best in everything I do. And that Tomlandia Confederation has gone on even to this day. I would say that the real Tomlandian Confederation gained traction when I attended an English level 2 class with my professor, because I would like to think that my English abilities, my writing abilities are one of my weaknesses. And so this is when the real Tom Q leader, took place and decided to consolidate my resources towards focusing on this one aspect and trying to master the ability to write. And I think it worked out very well. The foundational papers were, well, it's not published yet, but I am pretty sure that they will be a success.
Well, I would just like to point out that you mentioned a multiple personalities, right?
Yes.
Other than the whole point being you're relying more on yourself as the empire rather than other people.
Yes.
Now, you claiming to be the leader of a sole empire can be a little arrogant, would you think?
I would say so, but I would like to think that this idea of the empire isn't really an idea that I am better than anyone, that I should lead anyone. It's the idea that I want to grow and I want to change. I tend to have less pride when I was growing up because I didn't know what self respect means. And I found that through the people who I got revenge on. I think, and this is the most important thing, I think that empire is just a way for me to express my self respect and self dignity to other people rather than a sense of me being really better or worse than anyone.
I see. Well, I think that concludes our talk today. Well, thank you very much. This has been Hasan Ali and Tom Q.
And I guess that's today's podcast.